Hi everyone, so my name's Lucinda and I'm from Independent Education today. I'm personally really passionate about education technology, so I'm super excited to hear from the startups today. But before we get started, let me introduce to you the judges and then also the startups. So we have Shankar Maruwada, who is from EdTech Foundation. We have Amit Patel, who's from Owl Ventures. We have Zhang from Roboterra. And we have Philipp Schmidt from MIT Media Lab. And we also have our head judge, which is Mike Butcher from TechCrunch. And we also have Thomas Steele-Maley from GEMS Education. He's a floating judge, so he's around. So now let me introduce to you the startups. So first of all, we have Learning Machine. Then we have Or Academy. Then we have Dasaran, and finally we have Caprix. So without further ado, let's start the pitches. So first of all, Learning Machine, please come up onto the stage.
All right, thanks. All right, can everyone hear me? Yes. All right, so I'm just gonna dive right in. We are Learning Machine. We make enterprise software for issuing, verifying, receiving, and sharing official records using the blockchain. The problem that we are solving is that today, records verification is still largely a paper-based world. Despite the rampant digitization that has been happening, particularly since the advent of the internet in the late 90s for enterprise use, records still are primarily issued on paper. They're primarily verified by humans talking to other humans, and it's expensive. It's time-consuming. It involves calling, it involves sending, mailing physical records to be verified. All of this overhead means that records aren't verified nearly as often as maybe they should be. This leads to rampant misrepresentation of educational history and of employment history. It also leads to fraud. These problems stem in part from the fact that records are, as I said, largely paper-based, but also because of that, recipients don't actually own their records of achievement. This seems like a strange thing, but in fact, if I'm a graduate from MIT, for example, it's MIT that owns my official record, my diploma. It's MIT that has to send my diploma and confirm to the relying party or the validator that I, in fact, graduated from there. So even though I might have a physical paper copy of that diploma, I can't really use it for anything. This creates bottlenecks. It removes access to opportunity, particularly for people coming from developing countries, and it is time to change. So our solution is to give people verifiable digital records using the blockchain as a secure anchor of trust. What you're seeing here is an example of a digital record, and we call this a block cert, or a blockchain certificate. If you're around, we actually have a booth, not just in the startup zone, but in the Asatir tent as well. This mobile app that you're seeing is the free BlockCerts wallet. If you have a smartphone, you can go to your app store right now and download it. And this wallet does all of the complicated cryptographic blockchain-based key management that allows you to seamlessly prove that your documents are authentic, that they have not been tampered with, that they are issued by the correct institution, and that you own them, that you are the individual to whom this document was issued. This solves a major problem infrastructurally. So think, for example, of the Syrian refugee crisis. You have over 5 million people who have been displaced. It is the most well-educated refugee population in human history, and yet in the countries they end up in, they virtually always have to start from scratch. Why is that? Because you can't really call the University of Homs, or you can't go back to their high school in Aleppo and say, can you verify that this person in fact graduated from here, that they have this degree? So you have doctors, lawyers, highly skilled interpreters, people with professional experience and background who simply cannot prove any of their achievement. So why now? This is just a quick overview of the evolution of digital records. We started with, of course, paper and seal-based document verification. In recent years, we've moved more towards a PDF model using digital records, but even PDFs are still relying on a central authority to verify the integrity of those documents. Even the highest level of PDF security, blue ribbon verification, has been broken. So if you don't have that central authority, if there's a war, if there's a natural disaster, if your university goes out of business, if you move and you can't get in touch with them, those records are virtually useless to you. So where we're going today is using the blockchain as a decentralized verification infrastructure. This means that even if your software vendor goes away, even if your issuing institution goes away, your records remain verifiable. And if they're issued as a JSON digital format, that makes them interoperable with any system that can read structured data. It's human readable, it's machine readable, and sets an infrastructure for the automated verification of an ecosystem of digital records.
Okay, that's now time.
All right.
Thank you very much.
How many slides have you got there?
Just a few. Let me just quickly go through them.
Just do like 1 minute left, just wrap up with the line.
All right. So BlockCerts is an open standard, co-developed with MIT in 2016. Dr. Schmidt can attest to that as well. We make enterprise software for issuing these records at scale. These are some of our customers. Current customers, pipeline, over 24 million. The interest in this is off the charts, and it's growing every month. The market validation here, quick breakdown between traditional digital records providers that don't have blockchain-based verification, blockchain identity records providers who are listed here, and infrastructure providers. So as you can see, we operate at the intersection of all of these markets. We're already taking revenue, closed over $1 million last year in 2017. Technical and experienced team. We previously exited another company that Learning Machine grew out of. This was an education technology company that made decisioning systems for institutions and international standards leadership.
I think that's time now.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I'd like to invite now the judges if they've got any questions.
Great job, thank you. I want to know what's the ultimate market size that you're seeing, the biggest potential?
Yeah, so think of the market for this as a series of concentric circles. The digital identity market has been estimated at just a little over $9 billion by 2020. But digital identity is really the core of a series of other markets, whether it's electronic records management, healthcare, supply chain management. So verifiable records are really the core kernel for virtually every market on the planet today.
So I thought the Syrian refugee example that you talked about was a very powerful one.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the customers that you have right now and then how you see this technology moving to emerging markets and kind of how they would adopt it?
Absolutely. So our largest customer is the Republic of Malta. We work directly with the Ministry for Education and Employment to provide blockchain-based records as a social good to all Maltese citizens. So we've started with several higher education institutions, particularly in the vocational education sector, and are now expanding to K through 12 implementation. Malta is at an optimal size to roll this out at a nation state level, and they're serving as a model now for other countries. So the Bahamas are actually coming with us in May to consult with the Maltese ministry to learn how they can do the same thing in their own country. And our pipeline includes a number of other examples of nation state interest.
Any more questions?
Forgive me, but I've got a slight impression that this is a blockchain startup which is kind of giving us some optics around education, but I'm not really feeling the education aspect of it. So so tell me more about the application in the education sector, down to school level, for instance. And then secondly, tell me more about, how you would do this, when you're limited on connectivity, you're in an emerging market,
Yeah.
you've got very, very limited connectivity, very, very limited ability to capture data. You're working with sort of old-fashioned PC systems, for instance. Tell me a little bit more about those two issues.
Right. So first question, education applications. Education is virtually impossible to turn into a social currency if you cannot document it in a verifiable way. I can make all sorts of claims about my education, but it doesn't matter if they can't be independently verified. And this holds true from an elementary school level all the way through to the most advanced PhD. Verifiable records are at the center of every reliable and accredited education ecosystem.
But that's you're taking state level documentation and putting it on the blockchain, right? But how are you going to deal with down to the school level?
Every school issues records that need to be verified. So our issuers are anything from an elementary school to a government. Anyone can use the learning machine system to issue
But do you
records.
have to deal with the state?
No, not
Right.
at all. Not at
Okay.
all. So we have many customers who are private institutions. In the US, for example, private universities make up a large proportion of our customer pipeline. Companies like Boeing, like AB InBev, that they're interested in using this for a workforce certification perspective.
And tell me more about down to an emerging market level.
Yep.
Where there's limited connectivity, low
this is a
technology.
mobile-first application, meaning that the BlockCerts wallet is a smartphone app that you can use to receive, share, verify your official documents. We started with a mobile-first application because from an identity verification standpoint, it's the most intuitive and the most secure. It also opens up access precisely to emerging markets.
And you've got it working on what platforms have you got on smartphone?
Android and iOS. Yep.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
One quick question.
Just switch that mic. What's the number of mic is that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
How are you thinking about privacy? Some people may not want their entire educational record stored on an immutable, transparent blockchain.
Yeah, so it's always an opt-in process from the recipient side. The issuing institution sends an invitation to the recipient via email and says, we would like to issue you a digital record on the blockchain. There's a link within that email that the recipient can click to send that institution their blockchain address. If they don't want to receive records on the blockchain, they can just ignore it or delete that email, and they will never receive a blockchain-based record.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Round of applause, please. So before I introduce the next startup, I'm just going to give the judges a minute to deliberate. Thank you so much, judges. So can I now welcome to the stage All Academy?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Raya Bishari, the founder and CEO of All Academy. We are a future-focused platform for high school students to learn, connect, and solve global grand challenges. Our mission is to bring awe and wonder back into education, to inspire young minds to take a cosmic perspective, and to bring about civilization-level change. The problem is that young people today are being educated for jobs that don't exist. They'll be working on problems that have yet to emerge, and they'll be using technology that hasn't even been invented. This is because we are living through a world of accelerating change due to exponential technologies. Artificial intelligence and technological automation are disrupting all aspects of society and wiping out traditional jobs. Yet, traditional school curricula has remained unchanged for centuries, with an overemphasis on grades, content knowledge, and isolated subjects. All Academy offers an innovative supplement to traditional education. Our online platform allows high school students to do three things. That is, to learn by accessing awe-inspiring interactive curricula, to do by working on projects and global challenges, and to connect with renowned thought leaders and potential collaborators. All of our multidisciplinary modules take less than an hour to complete and cover topics such as exponential technologies, 21st century skills, AI ethics, mindfulness, finding your passion and purpose, and much more. These modules have been designed by award-winning educators to be interactive, by not just including videos and readings, but also self-reflection tasks, formative assessments, activities, and other resources built into them. They align with the Millennium Goals, and in addition to that, fill a desperately needed gap in curricula by teaching growth mindsets, such as blue sky thinking and intelligent optimism. Above all, they prepare our youth for the jobs of the future by promoting new smarts and 21st century skills. We also offer cutting-edge professional development training for educators in areas such as STEAM education and creating cultures of innovation. All Academy also offers workshops and training for learners, educators, and industry leaders at large. In the last 3 months, we have beta tested our platform with over 500 international users who joined at zero acquisition costs. Even more, we are currently beginning to pilot All Academy with 7 schools in the UAE and hundreds of other students. In the last 6 months alone, we have hosted many pilot sessions and think tanks with our target groups and been endorsed by global organizations. Some of these organizations include the World Future Society, Millennium Project, Foresight University, and even Beluga, that has put us in front of 900 classrooms worldwide. We have also partnered with our affiliate organizations, CIFES Dubai and Intelligent Optimism. We are led by an experienced management team. As a serial entrepreneur myself, I'm the founder of various national and international initiatives, including CIFES Dubai and Intelligent Optimism. All Academy co-founder Rowan Roberts is an innovation leader at GEMS Education. He's the director of CIFES Dubai and a Global Teachers finalist from 2017. We are joined by another group of passionate innovators and serial entrepreneurs. We are also honored to be backed by some of the leading experts in education today, along with an incredible board of educators of Global Teacher Prize finalists. And our chief evangelist is none but Jason Silva, who is a National Geographic host of 2 shows, Brain Games and Origins. His Shots of Awe have received over 100 million views worldwide and have been converted into interactive curricula on our platform. Now, at All Academy and beyond, we spend so much time talking about preparing our youth for the future. But the future is also not set in stone. In the words of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the future belongs to those who can imagine it, design it, and execute it. And that is exactly what all of our programs have been designed to do. All of our programs have been designed to inspire a generation of cosmic citizens to bring about civilization-level change and have a positive impact on humanity in their lifetime. We have a long-term vision of continuing to launch innovative products and services, and we serve to transform the future of education as we do so. And we invite you to join us on this journey. I'd now be happy to welcome any questions from the judges. Thank you.
Judges, any questions?
Can you talk a bit about content creation costs as well as the price that you charge to use the platform?
Absolutely. So right now we actually have the privilege of being able, we do three things. We are able to develop a lot of the content in-house because our team is award-winning educators. Even more, we've managed to contract award-winning educators outside the team to do it on a freelance basis. And thirdly, some of the partners that we have, like the Millennium Project, have content that we adapt into our format and into our curricula. So it's very cost efficient. And in terms of how much we charge, with the general public, which it will be open to from this April, we charge around $9 a month per student, but we bring that cost down by 60% with schools and education providers. So we're currently piloting with 7 schools that are actually subscribing their students onto the platform, and for them it comes down to $4 a month. But in addition to that, we do remove the cost if we're dealing with users who come from really low income backgrounds or can't afford to, we give it to them for free.
You talked a lot about the content. Can you talk a little bit about the projects that students would actually be doing and how they would be sharing them?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of the projects are either hosted in-house by our team or with partnerships with our organization. I can tell you an example of one of the projects that's very popular. It's called Moonshot Thinking Challenge, where students are encouraged to come up with a 10 times improvement or solution to a problem in their school, community, or community at large. And we also, for this project, they submit their proposals, and we provide them a $200 grant for selected participants to implement their solution in their community. Examples of other projects, we have another one that's quite popular, is an AI poetry challenge. So it's another multidisciplinary challenge where students are put in a position to reflect on the future of AI, but also get creative as they do so.
Can you elaborate a little bit more about the technology? I'm still a little bit confused. Is it like a social media platform to connect projects with participants, or is it more like a eBay of ideas? You know, people bid for entering into a challenge. How does it work?
Right, so it's an entirely online platform. Think of it as a combination of a learning management system, a social media platform, and a platform for projects. So the 3 components, Learn, Do, Connect, each have their own section. Under Learn, the students can browse through all of those modules that I discussed. Under Do, they can browse through projects. And under Connect, they can browse through either webinars, collaboration hub, and a discussion forum. So it has all of those components within it. I hope that answers your question. Yeah.
How many full-time team members now working on this, and what's the growth plan for the next year?
Absolutely. So we are an early stage company where we've done everything that we've done within a year. Currently, I'm the only person that's full-time. However, we have a very big extended team. We have our 6 advisory board members, 8 board of educators, 15 student ambassadors, 6 interns, and even an extended team of developers and whatnot. So we're a very big distributed team. And in terms of the growth stages, so we are doing our major angel round this April and opening it up to the public this April as well. And currently we're piloting at a big scale with various schools in the UAE.
This seems very content heavy. You're producing a lot of content. You're contracting a lot of content. I kind of want to reiterate what the previous judge said about the technology side of it. I want to hear a bit more about that because this is very much about scaling to 1 billion people, and I'm sure you're a very quite fast typist, but scaling content is a big deal. And one of the problems with many online learning platforms is they've just gone and they haven't been able to reach all that scaling issue. I'd like to hear more about that, and I'd also like to. One of the things I have a slight issue with that. Okay, I'm just going to come out and say it. Is it feels like we're talking about we're going to teach you things about mindfulness, but I want to hear about how that's going to help 1 billion people. Is that really the moonshot or what?
So to answer your first question, there's still, look, one of the issues that we saw early on is that there are a lot of EdTech companies focusing on technological tools, which is awesome and valuable, and we do that too. But there's another piece that's missing in a lot of stories is the curricula that goes over it. Because there's no point digitizing curricula that focuses on the wrong skills, that's outdated and doesn't serve the purpose anymore. So that's why we do focus a lot on curricula, because it's important to be innovative in the curricula itself. But we do have a technology that we you put it on that is scalable, you know, like, and also not just the fact that it's not just content, it's interactive content. So students are able to complete activities, self-reflection tasks, and much more. And finally, you know, when it comes to all of the topics we cover are areas that are missing from traditional education, but are so important for young minds.
I see. So you're trying to moonshot into the next phase rather than dealing with, reading, writing, and arithmetic. You're trying to moonshot into what happens into an AI world, etc.
Exactly.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. I'm just going to give the judges another minute and then we'll be back. Thank you, judges. Okay, I'd like to welcome our third startup of the session, Dasaran.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Armenian, and I live all my life in Armenia, and I am proud to be Armenian. But most of the time when someone speaks about their country, they think it is about the landscape, architecture, trees, or buildings. But to me, it is less about the landscape. Although I have to admit that is a part of our national identity, but more importantly, it is about the people. People who not only care the legacy of their ancient history, but also build the future of their country. And the future of every country are students. Those who live on their land, who study on their land, and most surely will decide the destiny of their land. We believe that every single student must be taken care of and have an equal access to education. That is why, back in 2009, we created Dasaran, the educational software which is for students, guardians, teachers, and policymakers. And today we are completely revolutionizing the public education system in Armenia. Today, Dasaran consists of three main elements. It's a learning management system, it is a data analytics for policymakers, and gamified education. But before I'll jump into this element, I just want you to understand what we did back in 2009. We sort of created electronic pipelines which goes and connects to every Armenian family where there is a school-aged child. And then in 2010, we signed our first contract with the government, and we said, now give us your best quality content of education. We took it, we gamified it, and equally disseminated towards every Armenian family through these pipelines with no matter what is their social background or geographical location. Today, we managed to penetrate 100% of all Armenian public schools with over 1 million registered users. You know, when we just start implementing our software into the Armenian schools, out of 38,000 teachers, only 5% were using computers on their daily routine. Today we managed to reach from 5% to 81%. And when teachers start using our software, it becomes very attractive for the parents to monitor their students' performance via Dasaran, and those who have been doing it at least once in a week at the end of academic year, their students have 39% improvement in their performance and 83% decrease in the absence rate. when all the schools start using Dassaran, Dassaran becomes the biggest data collecting organization in Armenia. And with the help of our friends from Harvard University, we learned how to transfer this data into information, and we created a tool called eStat Diagnostic Tool on Public Education, which is an advanced statistical analytical tool which provides comprehensive insights for the public education. This tool provides critical data for data-driven and informed policy decision-making. This tool helps the Armenian government to build infrastructural capacity through low-cost, yet state-of-art and innovative technological means. This tool helps the Armenian government to cut the data collecting process from 1 year to seconds. You know, finally gamified education, my favorite part. We created 59 different games which helps the Armenian students to learn their own subjects like math, geography, history, but besides, we teach Armenian students whatever is not being taught in the schools, like driving rules, social inclusion, bullying, tolerance, criminal code, constitution, why to save water or energy. We are not only teaching them, we are shaping their behavioral pattern as citizens. You know, all these elements didn't let us be unnoticed in the world. And in 2016, Dassaran was recognized as one of the 5 best innovative enterprises in the world by UNDP and Impact Aim. This makes us to be on radar screen of many international organizations because using Dassaran environment, it becomes very cost effective to deliver quality content equally towards every Armenian family. Thank you. This is what we do. We use technology to bring equality. Thank you very much for your attention.
Now, if the judges have any questions?
Can I handle this? Okay.
Hi, are you looking at expanding beyond Armenia?
Absolutely. That's our mission right now. We are looking for low income, middle low income, and in 20% high income countries because we believe that we can scale it not only for the governmental schools, but also to the private schools. That's what we are doing right now.
What changes do you need to make in your technology to do that?
Right now, we are almost ready. The only gap that we don't have a mobile app. But the site is adaptive. So 68% of our users are using it. Right now, what we are trying to have is a mobile app because of we are in a negotiation process with Senegal, Zambia right now, and mostly the problem is that the mobile coverage is great in their countries, but LAN connection is not. So that's what we are trying to do. We need mobile app.
It's amazing of what you've done there. So congratulations over the growth in the past 10 years. I'm curious. For the success you've obtained, do you think you're more of a technology-driven company, or are you more of a distribution company that strengthens on distribution channel, or is it really just deep understanding of that country, so you build a unique IT solution, so you're more like an IT solution consulting company? These are 3 different things.
We're more mission-driven company. What we're trying to use technology to help to develop the system of education. And the reality is that today, internet is the great opportunity. And also for you to understand, we're not trying to create a content. What we're trying to do is to create an environment and invite everyone, like UN and all the other partners who have a content that we can deliver the quality content to the students. That's what you are trying to do. Use technology to deliver qualified content to the students and teachers and the government.
So in the past 10 years, have you ever encountered strong competitions? If any, who are they and then where are they now?
In our country?
Yeah.
No. In 2009 when we started, we were the only one. And then in 2010, we signed our first contract with the government and it becomes mandatory for the capital schools. And then year by year, we scale it up to the 10 regions, entire Armenia. So there are no other companies right now in the same field with Dassaran in Armenia.
So, one quick question. No competitor market, what do you think is the biggest challenge of your growth?
Well, there is a lot of competitors in the global market, like the Power School, Ecool, Moodle, the Classroom by Google. There are, but the biggest competitive advantage that we have, When we started in 2009, the computer literacy in our country was almost to zero, especially for the teachers. So we were forced to build a structure which will be such a user-friendly, so those people who doesn't even know to use mouse will be able to use it. And second, our uniqueness is that there is, due to our research, there is no other platform which unites entire public education in one platform and analyze the data and give to the government, because we believe if you don't know your current status, if you don't know your present, it's really hard to build a future. Thank you.
The games that you've built, are they primarily kind of assessments or can you describe what data you're collecting from them? And then what are one or two kind of insights, specific insights that the government has realized from your platform?
For example, I'll bring you an example of the last game that we have created, DRR game, because unfortunately Armenia is a very seismic zone. And DRR game that we have created, teaching Armenian students about what to do during the natural disasters, becomes so popular that international donors decided to take it and scale it to other worlds, to other parts of the world. So generally the games that we are creating, and especially for the students who are living in the rural areas, it becomes like the best way to be connected and to receive a knowledge. We are having like up to 450,000 plays during the month, considering that Armenia is up to 3 million population. Yes, sir.
This sounds like you're doing quite a lot of things. I wrote down, you're doing e-learning, policy data, gamification of educational content. There seems to be almost a bit too much. I'm a little bit skeptical about actually whether or not you can achieve anything well. Just tell me I'm wrong.
Absolutely, no. We have come to here within 10 years. We started only with the school management school in 10 years ago. And then because it started working very well and we penetrate 100%, we went to analyzing the data with the help of our partners. And then we went also to bringing quality via the games to the students. So it was step by step.
Yeah, but you think you're successful in all of those areas?
Absolutely. And those are just the numbers of our users,
right,
and the recognition of the world.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll just give our judges another minute and then we'll be back. Okay, thank you, judges. Now we've got our fourth and final startup for this session. I'd like to introduce Coprix.
Hello, everyone. I have one very, very simple solution to present, so simple that I have to read the notes to be in the constraints of 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 50 seconds. I'm the geography teacher on one side and 20 years in media on the other side, and in digital media last 10 to 15 years. This is why I joined Coprix Media. I'm not the owner, I'm not the CEO, I'm not the developer, but I'm a supporter since the beginning of Coprix and representative for this region. When I say this region, I mean Middle East and Africa, and Asia, of course. So, My name is Ivan. So let me start with this one. Is this the... Okay. Now I have to go back. What happened? I have to be quick, man. Okay. So we know that our kids, my kids, which are 7 and 9, grew up with the technology almost like this. And today, when they come back from and today when they come back from the school, they're like this in analog school. When they come back, what they do, they go back to their devices. And this is first thing that they do when they enter house. Yes, the technology is improving, but I have to tell you one thing, and I have to complain. Because when my daughter did a presentation in PowerPoint, like a school homework, she had to print it out and then bring it to school, which is not logical at all. So yes, they bought the iPads, they have Wi-Fi, but there are too many applications. Yes, they are, and many people are selling those applications. But let's not confuse buzzwords like edutainment with education. So education is the key word here. With our application, and I will show you, if I go, next slide, please. I'm trying. So what if I told you that, yes, we did it, and yes, it is possible. So with Coprix Media, which we are, we made it possible, and it's really confusing to jump in the slides. Yes. We made it possible, and 3 things, and these are the things I'm holding the notes for. Personalized, individualized, and giving student ownership of what they do and how they do. Let me go back and let me go further. I'm really trying. So today, our applications is used by over 500 schools and 17,000 kids already. So yes, we are a startup. Yes, we have been founded already. Yes, we are searching for partners, but to expand, not just locally, not regionally, but globally. Today, because the Coprix Media is from Serbia, Europe, and Eastern Europe, we developed in this region, but also Spain, UK, and US. Today, 2 owners and 2 CEO and CTO are in UK and US trying to sell our products there and already selling products there. I will present you ABC book, and I invite you to our booth next here to try to write all the letters, scripted, not scripted. You know, this is very simple. This is for KG1 or grade 1 in American curriculum, or KG1 or KG2 in English curriculum. So it's very, very simple, but it gives the opportunity for the kids to learn, not to entertain, but through curriculum to be educated. No, one slide before, please. What is very important, we encourage, I don't know what's going on. Yeah. We empower teacher by trainings and material, but teacher then empower students. Then, next slide, please. We are also available on all platforms, yeah, no? It's very easy to implement. We use QR code, which is very popular for students, for teachers, for super users, for even parents can see what the achievements of the kids are. And we really try to maintain the top quality production and have the native speakers, of course, for each character in the one of the voices is mine, of course, in Serbian. I'm not English, as you can tell. Okay, next slide, please. You see, so it's easy. You just draw letters. So this is ABC book. We have ABC, we have math, we have science, and which is very interesting, we have Arabic in production. If anybody is interested, we can do it in less than 3 months and deploy it. That's it. Can you just slip? Okay, personalized, I told this. Skip the slides. individualized, AI-based, okay, on-demand Arabic already in production, satisfaction of our users, awards that we got, a lot of awards since 2012, and then again, at the end, you can contact me. Thank you very much. Philipp.
And do the judges have any questions?
I can answer Mike's question. It is scalable.
That's not my question.
Okay.
Is this more? I mean, it's an education app company, right? Is it more than that?
Yeah.
What?
I would say it's not an app. It's a platform that allows us to model our work or applications, to develop applications based on any curricula we need to.
Okay, and you're live in which markets again?
Europe, so Eastern Europe, like Serbia.
Where else apart from Serbia?
And then Spain, UK, and US for now.
And you have education. You have interaction with educational institutions in each of those markets.
Yes. In some institutions, like European institutions for education, some of them based in Vienna, in Austria, we are technology advisors. Our owners are technology advisors too.
Okay.
Can you talk about, in the markets that you're in, the customer acquisition strategies that have been most effective?
I'll tell you now, whoever is interested in here in having a demo for 3 months, you can get it. So this is the best way because it's live application. Everybody can have it. What we do, we give away for free 3 months just for test, and then we just starting. And the payments are really, as my colleagues spoke, you know, you cannot charge the same on every market, but we tend to do a win-win situation because we all know that education in UAE is the second most expensive in the world. And then some, I don't know, African country which is not that rich as UAE cannot afford. So we really tend to manage this differently.
I have a question about the numbers. So 6 years, the company now, today, right?
Yes.
6 years,
Yes.
500 schools, 17,000 students, users.
Yes. Active users that are learning in schools, not testing.
Yeah.
Learning in schools with our program.
So what's the per student revenue for the company per year on an annual basis?
It's not per student, it's per teacher. So what we tend to do is, because there is a system, as you saw, there is a Android app, there is a interactive board app, and there is a PC app. So depending on the system, we charge by teacher. So each school has, I don't know, 4 or 5 classes of first grade, so 4 teachers in this school. So this is the revenue.
Do you mind? Yeah, I mean, can you share, like, what is the annual revenue per school?
I can tell you that we have a school that we charge 100 euros per month per teacher, and we have a school which wanted customized program, international, based in Belgrade, but international school, English curriculum. They wanted customized, 1,500 euros per teacher.
Because we work on BD, my last question is, so are you happy with the growth rate? And then what's the plan for the next 3 years of, you know, in terms of each year, what's a target of growth rate that you're working on?
I'm very proud that I'm a supporter of this software since the beginning. I told you, my first interaction with the guys was me giving a voice, because this is, believe it or not, something that I do in Serbian. But on the other hand, I'm very eager because my kids go to school here, and I see what can be improved here. So I'm kind of representative for this region. So I'm very excited about it, and I'm very excited because I already involved the Coprex Media in some projects with Abu Dhabi government, which is now on hold. But we were more than involved in some futuristic project about new education school 2.0. So I'm excited. This is the answer to the question.
One more question? Any questions? No? Okay, that's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.